We're in the lock-in in Bradford and Avon in Wiltshire. That's pretty much the start and finish of Warren's 78-mile test loop. And that is the loop he has been using to test 50 bikes for Cycling Plus's 2014 Bike of the Year. Warren, how's it gone?
I mean, this has been the toughest, really, the toughest year yet. We've looked at every bike there is, between £1,500 and £2,000. That's what most of us will spend on our next bike. And we've got a really good overview of what's out there. We've had some serious flooding. The roads have been pretty treacherous. There's a lot of climbing in it. There's about 3,600 feet of climbing in the 78 miles. And obviously with those climbs you get some really big descents. There's some nice twisty descents which really test the handling. You really get to see how comfortable a bike is.
We're now down to 3 bikes. We've got the Giant Defy Advance 2, that one last year. We've got the Cannondale Synapse 5 105. That is new for this year. We've got the BMC SLR02 Team Machine, which is actually a pretty new entry in the top 5. How does it ride? I mean, that's the really important, that's the crux of Bike of the Year, is how the bike rides. So the BMC, how would you describe it?
Well, the BMC is a race bike through and through. That actual particular model, that 02 model, they've made a race bike for sportive riders, which is a really nice trick. It's got a fairly short wheelbase, it's got nice steep angles, it hasn't got an overly long fork offset, so it's really, really light and lively. And that's the real thing about that bike, it feels really alive. It's a bike you can just chuck about, climbs beautifully. They've put gearing on it for every man. You know, it's got a compact on the front, it's got a 32 on the back, but the actual bike is a race bike. But it's a race bike that you can ride all day and be completely comfortable on.
Is it electronic group set ready?
Yeah, it's full internal routing, so it's completely ready for electronic drivetrains. It looks current, it looks modern, it looks like something from the future. Yeah. And that's all down to the way BMC design their bikes. I truly do love that bike.
We like the BMC. Yeah. Let's go back to the Giant Defy Advance 2. That was last year's Bike of the Year. I love that bike, even though I fell off of it in the Peak District. But that was my fault, not the bike's fault. That is a marvellous bike. We loved it last year. We still like it. It's in the top 3.
It's a benchmark setter. It was the first out-and-out endurance sportive bike, whatever you want to call them. And it's changed the market. You know, if you want to be making a sportive bike now, Giant's the benchmark. So we're starting to get bikes that are comfortable and handle.
A lot of people bought the Advance last year on our recommendation. If you bought it last year and you're looking at this year's bike, are you going to be thinking, oh, I wish I'd waited because it's improved? Or have Giant left well alone? They've made a great bike.
Yeah, they haven't touched it. We couldn't really fault it last year. It's just as good this year. You know, they basically, the first time around, they got everything right. What they have done is, if you are in the market, they've dropped the price. They've knocked 200 quid off it.
I mean, it is a fantastically comfortable machine. It's a bike that I kind of think, you get on and straight away you think, I'm at home on this. This bike fits me, it feels comfortable, I've got it set up the way I like it. But as soon as you get riding, you just think, yep, I'm happy. And that leads us, I think, quite nicely onto Cannondale Synapse 5. That is, new for this year. And we've been massively impressed, haven't we, with obviously the really expensive things like the Black Ink, which is a sexy superbike. Does this take that superbike styling, the superbike loveliness, and bring it to every man?
Certainly, and it is quite radical. That seat tube, where they call it a power pyramid, but opening up that bottom bracket and creating these 2 independent channels, which allow them to build a super stiff bottom bracket, but get that seat tube super slender, and design in through the layup of the carbon a huge amount of flex. And if you line those bikes up together, if you get the Super 6 Evo, same size, the new Synapse and the old Synapse, you've got head tube heights. Your Super 6 Evo is right down here. The old Synapse is up there. The new Synapse, bang, straight in the middle. So they've just found this absolute sweet spot. Yeah, and the influences that they've seen in the Defy are there. You can liven it up, you can make it exciting. And and you watched Sagan in the Classics last year. He was destroying people on what people imagine would be a sportive bike. One of the finest traits of that Synapse is on the test loop, there's one descent after one of the steepest climbs, which is arrow straight and really long, and you can hit seriously fast speeds on that. It actually gets really rippled and bumpy, where the land slips a little bit. So you've got this tarmac that just rolls, so it kicks and it will bounce you in the air. And quite a few of the bikes that you push down there, you have to back off because you start jumping and you start getting thrown offline. That Cannondale just seems to be doing this. It sucks you onto the ground and you're just in there. And I clocked the high speed on that Cannondale going down there, and that was in the rain.
So, there are 3 bikes. We like them all. Which one is bike of the year?
Going back to that Synapse, the level of the pinpoint accuracy of the handling, the way it handles bumps, and the supreme comfort you get from it, it has changed the game.
Right.
For that sort of bike, and so it's a really, it is the worthy winner.
So, there we have it. Cycling Plus's 2014 Bike of the Year is the Cannondale Synapse 5 105. We absolutely love it.